Hi, and welcome to the Boulder Universal community. My name is Heather Ridge. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and I am a science teacher for Boulder Universal. We wanted to take a minute to just walk you through what a typical course structure looks like for any of our classes. Most of them will follow a very similar format, so we thought it would be helpful to just show you in Schoology all the different features that you can access in order to look at our curriculum and see student work, as well as feedback and information from teachers. If you've been with the district for any length of time, then you're probably already very familiar with Schoology. Schoology is our learning management system, and all of our classes, with very few exceptions, will be delivered in this exact same format. A student and a parent, as well as teachers, can all log in and see very similar information and also navigate different tools to help support students as they learn. Each of our classes is laid out in kind of a weekly format so that students know each week what's expected of them. If you look, then you can click into each of these folders. So for example, week one is sort of our introduction week. So all of our classes are going to have a lot of important information that you might actually refer back to throughout the semester. The first item in there is going to be an instructor, kind of instructor information. So who's teaching this class? How do you get a hold of them? How do you call them? How do you email them? If you want to set up virtual hours to meet with them or drop into our drop-in hours, all that great stuff. That's going to be found in week one under the instructor information page. I might also tell you a little bit about their background and offer an opportunity to get to know who your teacher is just a little bit better. We'll also each have a pacing guide in our week one, and this will be the same for the entire school. So it kind of outlines when our due dates are for the materials in this week, and might be something you print out because it's going to have the actual dates in there of when you need to turn things in. For the 2020-2021 school year, our deadlines are going to be on Monday. So everything from that weekly folder is going to be due at the very start of that next week. On that Monday. So it's important to have those dates written down in your planner or however else you like to organize your time. And we do recommend printing out that pacing guide in week one. It's also going to have some great links to our course policies and give you an opportunity to get to know the other students in your class. It might also have a materials list. So for example, a science teacher, there's a few things that you might want to gather around your house for some labs that we'll be doing. Or perhaps you have a book list for things you want to check out at our virtual library for a language arts class, for example. So going through week one together is something we really recommend. As we go through the semester, you'll move throughout from week to week with the different materials, and you'll have all kinds of different ways to interact with other students as well as your teachers. We'll have assignments, which often assignments look like this, whereas a quiz might have this puzzle piece sort of symbol, and discussions might have this little bubble. And so we look at a lot of different ways that students are able to engage, not just with me as the teacher, but also with other students as well. The great thing for parents is that you can actually see not only all of, kind of the expectations and assignments and interactions that your students are having, but also any feedback from the teachers. Students, your grades you can actually click on this grade book and it's going to have all of your different grades and all the different comments kind of laid down as a list. But you'll also have another feature where you can go in and see sort of all of the assignments in the class and the overall information about each one by clicking on the link, as well as your running grade over here. Patty's my example student today. And you can also see everything you've turned in, and so all of the different scores that you've received. You can see your own submissions by clicking both in the materials in the weekly folder as well as here in the gradebook. You can see what you turned in, and you can also see the feedback that you've gotten from your teachers. So parents, this is a really wonderful tool. So you can see a lot of feedback is something that Boulder Universal really strives to do, since we aren't getting sort of the informal feedback in a classroom. So we really encourage you to go through everything you've turned in. Teachers have put in information, or they might have additional questions. So do spend a little bit of time here each week reviewing what you've turned in, since it's so helpful. You can message us, as I mentioned, in the kind of the week one, there's instructor information, but you can also message us in Schoology if you need to send us a quick little question or something by clicking on here. And then keep in mind, in week one, we'll also have all of our virtual office hours and drop-in times and emails and phone numbers if you also need to reach out. So, in a typical semester, depending on what grade level your students are in, they're going to have, you know, 4 to 5 classes at least that are going to be hosted in Schoology. And most of us follow the exact same structure. So, again, the weekly folder format is kind of laid out for you. And we've got a pacing guide in week 1 to kind of keep you on track, as well as a way to reach out to teachers. And the ways to navigate through. So once you're in that week, you can drop down like I've been doing here with the arrow. Or once I actually get into the week, I can also navigate up here towards the top from lesson to lesson. So for example, here at the very beginning of week 2, we've got a quick discussion question. So I've got a prompt here, and you would type your answer in here and post, and you'll also be able to see what other students have read. And then you can navigate here. Our classes will have sort of objectives for the week, so you can get an idea of what you'll be learning and maybe some important words that might be new that you'll review. And so I'm navigating up here using these buttons, which is just the same as going back to that folder view and clicking through. We are really striving this year with so many folks that are new to online learning to do as much as we can early on to make you feel comfortable with our learning management system. And so we do hope you'll reach out, and if there's additional information that might be useful, please let us know, and we're happy to create small groups if we'd like to really dive into how to navigate Schoology better, or answer any specific questions that you might have as they come up. We're really looking forward to learning together this year, and welcome you to our classes and to the Boulder Universal community.